All right, here we go. Let's get started. It's time to tell the truth. This is our weekly series. We got started with this some time back and we just never could stop because we got to tell the truth, even though we do know that sometimes people can't handle the truth. So we added that to it because we want to know, can you handle it? Okay, but we're going to give it to you whether you can handle it or not. I'm Dr. Ross. For those that don't know who I am, Dr. Rosalind Shaw Belt, my full name. I am the CEO of Dream to Life LLC and incorporated a wife, Dr. Adrian E. Belt Sr., a bunch of other stuff that God has blessed me to be able to do. But in this position at this particular time, I am your certified wellness coach. Through lots of research, through listening to a lot of other experts who are experts in the field of health and wellness, we come to share information. So we want to heal our bodies. So we're going to jump into this because we've got a brand new topic that we're dealing with today. But first, we're going to start out with Coach Rowe just sharing a tidbit of a piece of information that I think you don't ever want to stop hearing.
By healing the cell. That's how you heal the body. And then how do you heal the cell then, Coach Rowe? By eating the food that God made. And I know most of y'all thinking y'all eating God's food. And I'm here to tell you, you're eating lab experiments. That's what you're eating.
And that's what many of us are eating, lab experiments. So today's topic is about healthy weight loss. Now, if you're that person, that individual that has been trying forever to lose weight in certain areas of your body, for us ladies, it's usually the midsection, it's usually the gut. For others, it might be the hips, it might be wherever. Get ready for this topic today because there's so many things attracting us. But I want to address healthy weight loss because healthy weight loss is the gradual reduction of excess body fat through sustainable lifestyle changes that can be maintained long term while preserving muscle, supporting overall health, and improving the quality of life. Now, I know, I get it. I get it. My husband told me some time ago when I was concerned about losing some weight, he said it. You didn't gain it overnight, so you're not going to lose it overnight. But we live in a fast-paced society. We want everything right now. We want the microwave version. But I'm going to tell you what's safe. Eating mostly whole foods, controlling your portions, regular physical activity, strength training to maintain muscle, adequate sleep, stress management, and hydration. Now, I'm going to tell you what it's not. It is not starving yourself. It is not doing extreme calorie restrictions. It's not just living on shakes or supplements alone. It's not depending solely on medication without a lifestyle change. And it's not rapid weight loss that cannot be maintained. Now, I get it. Sometimes we do certain things for, say, an event. We're trying to look a certain kind of way for an event. I was in a company once, they had a girdle that they put on you to make it look like you were a size that you really weren't. So you can look that way for that wedding or look that way for that cruise or look that way for that event. You want to look, that class reunion. But then when you came back home and you took the girdle off, whoop, there it goes. But I want you to see what's prompting people to make certain decisions because of what we see on television.
Yes, I'm on Roe. They say GLP-1s for weight loss is a shortcut. It's not. It's science. After kids, it's the medicine my body needed. GLP-1s helped me lose 31 pounds. One app to hit my goals. This is healthcare. This is Roe. I'm Serena Williams, and I'm a real Roe member.
Guys, I'm on the road, and I've lost 45 pounds In fact, I've lost everything but my big mouth. Losing weight on row is simpler. Even a dummy like me can't mess that up. Stats are looking good on row. Even my legendary golf swing is leveling up. I'm Charles Barkley, and this is me on row. Wait, you're telling me they have a GLP-1 pill for weight loss now?
Meet Wegovy Pill, the first FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss pill. Lose weight and keep it off with the new once-daily pill from Wegovy. People taking Wegovy Pill lost over 30 pounds, and some lost over 47 pounds. Proven results in a little pill.
Don't take if you or your family had MTC, MEN2, or if allergic to it. Tell your provider if you plan to have surgery or a procedure, are breastfeeding, pregnant, or plan to be. Stop taking and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or a serious allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreas inflammation and gallbladder or severe stomach problems. Wegovy may cause low blood sugar in people with diabetes, especially if you take medicines for it. Call your prescriber if you experience vision changes or heart racing at rest. Side effects of nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
With Wegovy, you can live lighter with less weight. Get started for a lower price. Ask your prescriber about Wegovy Pill today.
So the drugs that you're probably familiar with, the Ozempic, the Wegovys, the Zepbounds, the Mounjaros, the list goes on and on. These drugs are being sold to the tune of $70 billion, okay, and plus, and it's only growing. And 80% of that revenue comes from Americans, all right? Now, Americans, unfortunately, are probably the most obese in the world when you look at us as a nation. 75% of the population is either overweight or obese. And when you think about being overweight and obese, it increases all causes of mortality. All right, so what I'm going to teach you today is things that do exactly what these drugs do, but don't have any of the messy side effects. And when I say side effects, I'm talking about things like pancreatitis, okay, where there's an inflammation of the pancreas that could lead to cancer down the line, pancreatic cancer. Number two, blindness. There's a huge lawsuit that's happening right now with Ozempic and others that is centered around causing a lot of the patients who took these drugs blindness, where they literally have a stroke in their eye, okay? Bowel obstruction, that's literally when your bowels get obstructed and you can't have a bowel movement. Or gallbladder issues, or Ozempic face. You probably have seen a lot of the celebrities who have started taking these drugs and who were pushing these drugs now have this Ozempic face where their whole face has turned into what looks like a skeleton, or their skin is very saggy and hanging off of them, okay? Or gastroparesis, another side effect where your stomach literally becomes paralyzed.
Ozempic, it is literally the hottest drug in the country right now. But what happens when you stop taking it? Ozempic is part of a class of medications called GLP-1 agonists, and they are really important, safe, and effective for people with type 2 diabetes. But about 10 years ago, in the world of obesity medicine, it was discovered, as we do with a lot of medications, that there is a side effect may be beneficial, and we're talking about the side effect of weight loss. Fast forward, one of these medications recently was FDA approved for specifically weight loss for people who are obese or overweight. And of course, like many medications, they are also used off-label specifically and exclusively and deliberately to affect weight loss. These are usually injections. They're given by the individual, by the patient. In the belly is the most common location, once a week. These medications are generally well tolerated, but one of the ways in which they work is by slowing the emptying of the stomach. So one of the side effects, not surprisingly, can be GI, nausea, in some cases even vomiting, as diarrhea or bowel issues, and in rare cases, pancreatitis and inflammation of the pancreas. And these drugs do carry a black box warning for a rare type of thyroid cancer. So what happens if someone were to take one of these medications like Ozempic, lose some weight, and then discontinue or stop taking the medication? Obviously, it's variable. It's not one size fits all, and individual results and long-term results will tend to vary. But in general, we have to remember that the conditions of overweight and obesity are complex, chronic disorders that have a multitude of factors leading to them. Behavior is one of them, environment, genetics, even other medications that may be associated with weight gain are a big part of the picture. So if you remove one of those variables, in this case, a medication that has been helpful in achieving weight loss, it is possible, if not likely, that the person will regain some or all or even more of the weight that they've lost. It depends on how much was lost in the first place, and it depends on the person and their individual specific factors.
So let's look at this, because this is a crisis. Obesity is a crisis. It's a public health crisis. The numbers, over 40% of Americans are classified as obese, and nearly 75% are overweight. And it's now considered a chronic disease by major medical organizations, not just simply a lifestyle issue. Excess body fat, particularly visceral fat around the organs, drives systematic inflammation, hormonal disruption, and metabolic dysfunction throughout the body. What makes that so dangerous? Why are we talking about it? Because we're watching these TV commercials, and we're watching celebrities that we believe in that are taking so many of these, and we're making our decisions based on that, not based on facts, not based on our own research. So unlike this fat beneath the skin, visceral fat is metabolically active. It releases inflammatory chemicals, disrupts insulin signaling, and places constant strain on the cardiovascular and the endocrine systems. So a lot of times when we see people with massive weight losses, we see them on television, but we don't hear the other side of the story. So I want to share the other side of the story, because there are diseases that are linked to obesity. We understand that. Obesity is the leading factor, or the root cause, or the major risk factor for oftentimes cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea and respiratory, and even certain cancers. So when we talk about the weight loss drugs on the market, FDA approved, okay? Now they're widely prescribed to support weight loss. And we're the only country that in the first place advertises prescribed drugs. See, advertising is supposed to be something that you can go and purchase. You can go to the shelf and get. But when it's a prescription, you still got to get when it's a drug, you still got to go get a prescription from your doctor. And so when we're talking about the GLP-1 receptor in Ozempic, it reduces your appetite. So that's why people are jumping on it. It slows the gastric emptying. Originally developed for type 2 diabetes, but now it's widely used for weight management. When we're talking about Mounjaro, that's a dual, the GIP, the GLP-1. And I'll explain more what that GLP actually is, because we hear that over and over again. But it produces greater average weight loss than even Ozempic in the clinical trials approved by for both diabetes and Ozempic. Then we've got Qsymia, a combination of a stimulant and an anticonvulsant that suppresses appetite. And then we've got another one, Contrave, targets the brain's reward and hunger pathways, helps reduce cravings and emotional eating patterns associated with weight gain. And there's so many more. But what is the GLP? What is this? It's called glucagon-like peptide 1. It's a hormone that your body naturally produces in the intestines every single time you eat. Think of it like your body's built-in signal system. When food arrives, the GLP gets to work, helping regulate your blood sugar, your appetite, and your digestion. And it's been part of your biology all along. Scientists just figured out how to harness its power as medicine. So what then, what GLP does to our body naturally? See, we want to understand how God made this body to work. The way God made our body to work, when you eat a meal, your intestines release GLP-1 into your bloodstream. And this little small hormone triggers a surprisingly large chain of events, all working together to keep your body in balance. But it all depends on what kind of food is released, how it operates. It's going to operate one way or the other. It travels to the brain and it directly dials down hunger and cravings, helping you feel satisfied with less food. That's if it's the right food. Now, if it's the wrong kind of food, what does it do? It's still going to dial down, but it's going to make you not be satisfied. It's going to make you to the point where you want to eat again and again. Like, for instance, there are things that are being put into our foods. That's why they say no one can eat just one. Come on, guys. There's a reason that they say no one can eat just one. Then the GLP in our body that works naturally, and it's going to work naturally in the good way or the bad way, depending on what we put in our mouth, slows how quickly food leaves the stomach. The GLP helps you feel full longer, smooths out blood sugar changes. The way it's naturally supposed to work, it's supposed to signal the pancreas to release insulin, but only when blood sugar is actually elevated, keeping things safe and precise. And it's also supposed to naturally reduce intake. It tells the liver to hold back on releasing extra sugar into the bloodstream, preventing dangerous spikes after meals. Now, just think about all these things we just said and think about the opposite of what the GLP will do because of the kind of food that we put into our bodies. And so now they use the drugs to put control or to manage or to make the GLP do other things, like the drug now, Ozempic, weekly injection for blood sugar control in type 2 diabetes, the Wegovy, higher dose weekly injection specifically approved for weight loss. All of these, the Mounjaro, targets that GLP receptor for enhanced blood sugar control. Using a man-made drug to control a God-given hormone in our body. So why do people lose weight on these medications? Because of what I just said. The GLP-1 drugs, they don't force the body to shed weight. They don't force the body to shed weight through stimulants or willpower tricks. Instead, the GLP drugs work with biology, work with what God gave us to reshape hunger, fullness, and eating behavior from the inside out. And so the result for many people is a natural, steady reduction in calorie intake without even feeling deprived, without even doing anything yourself. You don't have to put any work involved. See, that's why we jump on it, because we don't have to do nothing but take the drug. The 4 key effects, it's an appetite suppression, and you'll see it on there. You'll see it on the bottles, you'll see it on the shots. You feel less hungry throughout the day, making it easier to eat less without having to force yourself to not eat it. You have an enhanced kind of fullness. Your meals feel more satisfying, so you stop eating sooner and you stay comfortable longer. You have fewer cravings. The brain signals that drive cravings, especially for the high-calorie foods, all of a sudden, it's reduced. Slower digestion. Your food moves through the stomach more gradually, extending the feeling of fullness after every meal. That's what makes it so appealing. That's what makes it so easy for us to grab hold of the drugs. The bottom line is, when the appetite, the fullness, the cravings, and the digestion all shift at once, most people naturally consume significantly fewer calories. Not because they're forcing themselves, not because they're doing the right thing, but because their hunger signals have genuinely changed. As Coach Rose said, through a lab experiment. And that's why the clinical trials have shown that the GLP-1 medications can help people lose 10 to 20%. You heard the testimonials from Charles Barkley, from Serena. You've heard them from Oprah Winfrey. You've heard them from multiple people, making them among the most effective tools available for weight management today. But here's the hidden cost. There's a hidden cost because, as you heard Dr. Bobby Price say, you can see certain things transpiring in people's bodies. And I've been seeing that when I look at certain people who have been, there are movie stars and there are celebrities. And when you look at their bodies and you look at their faces, I'm seeing certain things that are taking place. But the hidden cost is muscle loss. Clinical trials reveal a significant and underreported concern. Up to 25 to 40%. Y'all said you wanted the truth. Up to 25 to 40% of weight loss on GLP medications may come from lean muscle mass, not just fat. And the studies show that the body composition scans found that patients on many of these lost substantial amounts of skeletal muscle along with the fat. And this mirrors the muscle loss seen in a crash dieting where the body breaks down protein for energy. Why is this important? Why is this alarming? Because muscle is metabolically active tissue. Losing it lowers your resting metabolic rate, increases risk of weight regain, increases risk of weight regain, let me say it again, reduces strength, mobility, and critically places stress on the heart, which guess what the heart is? A muscle.
40% or 50% of the weight loss that comes from these drugs is actually muscle loss. All right. And it's important to know when you're losing weight, what you want to lose is excess fat. Okay. The second thing you want to lose, or most important, probably before the excess fat, is the waste and toxicity that is in your body, because that accumulates. And then the third thing you want to lose is excess water. Okay, that water starts to accumulate in the body because the body becomes toxic, and you hold on to water and you start to look puffy and look swollen. All right, that's how you want to lose weight. But with these drugs, 40 to 50% of the weight loss is actually coming from muscle, lean muscle tissue. And it's not just this type of muscle, it's the muscle that is in your heart as well too. All right, hugely important. All right, and the other thing that most people don't think about is that when you stop taking these drugs, you gain all the weight back. Okay, so you become a customer for life. So it's important to understand this is why changing your lifestyle is so important. You can't take these drugs for your whole life, given all of the side effects that I just mentioned, and I'm not even done.
So we know that every commercial, the fine print, shows us the side effects. So as Dr. Prince said, even if you're taking it, you don't want to take it all your life, because then you're a customer for life. And you're going to be paying, injecting, repeating forever. There has to be a what? Lifestyle change. The lifestyle change gives you your freedom and your health for long-term result. But I get it. We just want a quick fix. And oftentimes people will say, I'll just do it for a short period of time and then I'll go back to, I'll take care of my body once I get that jump start. Okay. How's that working for you? How long have you been on it? When are you going to stop? When is enough? When are you looking like you think you ought to look? You need to be feeling like you need to feel. The drug can help. But your choices are what's going to create the result. Don't just take the shot. Take control of your life. Because the heart is a muscle. Cardiac muscle loss is not a cosmetic concern. It's a safety concern. Any weight loss strategy that degrades the heart muscle integrity must be approached with extreme caution. You've got to be aware that it's not just about the fat that's being removed from your body. Cardiac muscle, rapid or uncontrolled weight loss, including with medications, can reduce the left ventricular mass that impairs the heart's ability to pump blood efficiently. The loss of skeletal muscle. Have you seen some of these people? Have you seen some of their faces, the way it's starting to, oh my God. Loss of skeletal muscle from weight loss drugs accelerates age-related muscle decline, sarcopenia, leading to frailty, falls, reduced quality of life, especially in adults over 50. I don't know. I just see it. I see it in individuals. I see them walking slower. I see them moving with anticipation that they got to be very careful about every step they make. When muscle mass decreases, basal metabolic rate drops. This makes it progressively harder to maintain weight loss and dramatically increases the likelihood of rebound weight gain when medication stops. How many people have we seen rebound, back and forth? One day they've lost, the next day they've gained it all back. But what we actually want to lose is targeted, not indiscriminate. What we actually want to lose, the goal is to shed what the body doesn't need while we preserve what it depends on. The excess body fat, right? Visceral fat around the organs. Yes, ladies, the love handles, that's what we call them, right? The waste and toxins, the cellular waste that's stored in the fat tissues, the excess water retention. It's okay. Somebody said, well, I lost a lot of weight. It was all water. Well, we want to get rid of that water retention. The lymphatic congestion. The muscle tissue is what we've got to protect. The skeletal muscle for strength and metabolism, the cardiac muscle for heart function, and the smooth muscle for organ health. So what are those strategies to preserve your muscle during your weight loss journey? Resistance training. Resistance training. It's not just about running only. You've got to do some strength training 2 to 4 times per week. It sends a powerful signal to your body to retain and build muscle even in a caloric deficit. It's the single most effective tool for preventing muscle loss during weight reduction. Resistance training. Get you some resistance bands, get you some dumbbells, get you some weights, and build back that muscle. Some of us are so weak in our arms, we can't even lift 3 pounds. Medical supervision, body composition testing, tracking your fat mass versus your lean mass. Protein intake, consuming 0.7 to 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight daily provides the amino acids needed for muscle repair and maintenance. And that's not just about eating a whole lot of steak to get your protein. There are more ways to get your protein than eating meat. I'm not advocating that you got to become a vegetarian or a vegan or any of that, but I'm saying meat is not the only way to get it. Just think about that old saying, I'm strong as an ox. Right. What does the ox eat? The ox does not eat meat. The ox eats grass. Oh, okay. Recovery and sleep. Uh-oh. Muscle synthesis primarily occurs during sleep. Prioritizing. Oh, I'm preaching to the choir. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep alongside stress management. Hello, somebody. Stress management supports hormonal balance and prevents the cortisol-driven breakdown of lean tissue. The goal is not simply to weigh less. It's to be stronger, leaner, and healthier. So if weight loss is done right, it's one of the most powerful investments that you can make in your long-term health. If it's done carelessly, it can create new risks while solving old ones. So we got to target the right tissue. We got to focus on eliminating that excess fat and the toxins and the water retention, not the lean muscle. We got to protect our heart. The cardiac muscle, it's not expandable. And any weight loss plan should actively monitor and protect the heart muscle. And we got to understand the drug trade-off. The medications are powerful tools, but they got to be paired with resistance training and adequate protein to prevent significant muscle loss. And then work with your doctors, especially those that understand how all of this works together. Healthy weight loss is a medical journey. So seek guidance from a physician or a registered dietitian who measure outcome beyond body weight alone.
Number one thing that you can do, and probably the most key thing that you can do, is eat more soluble fiber. All right. This naturally stimulates GLP-1 hormone. All right. And it does this because as the gut is breaking down that soluble fiber, it is creating what are called short chain fatty acids. These short chain fatty acids will trigger the release of GLP-1 hormone and does all the things that I just mentioned before. All right. So soluble fiber can be found in legumes like lentils, peas, chickpeas, etc. All right. It also can be found in nuts and seeds, and it also can be found in veggies, specifically really good dark green leafy veggies.
Soluble fiber. Eat soluble fiber. Soluble fiber, it dissolves in water to form a thick gel-like substance in your digestive tract. This gel, it slows down digestion, it stabilizes your blood sugar, and critically for weight loss, keeps you feeling full far longer after meals, and it also binds to cholesterol and carries it out your body. What soluble fiber does for you, it does the things we need: oats and barley, legumes, like he said, lentils, black beans, chickpeas, fruits, apples and pears and citrus and berries. We've been talking about them. We've been talking about all the one-word foods. Now we're talking about why. The seeds, the flax seeds, the chia seeds, especially potent. This blunts the blood sugar spikes. Those of you that are diabetics, we've got the solution in the food that God made.
Number two, eat more healthy fats. Why is that important? Especially healthy fats that are loaded with omega-3s. All right. That's important because, again, it triggers the release of GLP-1 hormone. All right. So eating more avocado, eating more olives, okay, or avocado oil or olive oil, okay, or eating more walnuts. All right. These are the things that are going to help trigger the release of the GLP-1 hormone as well too. So that's important.
So basically what we're saying is we don't need the drug to control the GLP-1 hormone when we've got the food that can do the same thing that Ozempic is doing, the same thing that Wegovy is doing, the same thing. So we've got to embrace this. Embrace the healthy fats. The dietary fat was wrongly blamed for weight gain for decades. Science is real clear on this. The right fats are essential for fat loss, for hormone regulation, for reducing inflammation. Healthy fats, especially those rich in omega-3. Come on, you see that beautiful piece of salmon sitting there? You see those avocados, you see those walnuts sitting there, you see the olive oil sitting there in that picture. Embrace the healthy fats. What am I trying to show you? I'm trying to show you that there are natural ways, healthy ways for weight loss that do the same thing that the lab work of Wegovy, Ozempic, yeah, they're working. Yes, they are. And I hope I've proven the point of how they work. How do those drugs work? But I'm trying to prove the point that the things that God made in our lives are supposed to work to do the same thing. Omega-3s are great power weight loss. Omega-3 fatty acids, they don't just support heart health. They actively shift your body into a fat-burning state, which is a hidden driver of weight gain and metabolic resistance. And the older we get, yes, we understand We don't burn like we used to burn. That's why you have to have the right kinds of foods in your body, the right kinds of supplements in your body to help increase your ability to lose. We reduce the inflammation. With chronic inflammation, it makes your fat cells resistant to release. Omega-3s dial it down. Studies show omega-3 supplementation increases the fat oxidation during exercise, helping your body burn more fat per workout. Omega-3s enhance leptin sensitivity, the hormone that signals fullness. And where can we get it? All over the place. Wild salmon, sardines, mackerel, walnuts, flaxseed oil, chia seeds, hemp seeds. All of these are excellent, not just good, excellent choices.
The third thing that you can incorporate in your diet is high probiotic and fermented foods. Now, when you're thinking about probiotics, you're probably thinking I'm talking about a capsule that you need to take. But probiotics are just good bacteria, okay? And where can you find good bacteria? In plants, all right? And what does that good bacteria like to eat in your gut so that it grows and expands and you get more of a healthier microbiome? That's prebiotics. And guess what prebiotics are? Fiber, all right, that I just talked about. So other things that you can eat related to probiotics and fermented food, it's going to be kimchi, it's going to be sauerkraut, it's going to be kefir. I like coconut kefir, incorporating that. And also polyphenol rich foods. That's going to be things like berries and dark chocolate. Specifically, I talked about this in another video, cacao. All right. Now, I like the fruit because the fruit is delicious, and then I can take the pods of the cacao and I can be able to make my own chocolate. All right. So if you want to check that out, again, go see us at iHeart Fruit Box. You can check out all of the exotic fruits that I grow on my farm. All right. iHeart Fruit Box. All right. But cacao is very important. If you're not going to eat the fruit directly, then make sure when you buy cacao, get the 70% cacao. Really, really important. Those polyphenols will also trigger GLP-1 hormone as well too. All right, hugely important.
So let's talk about the probiotics, the prebiotics, the fermented foods, because your gut is home to trillions of microorganisms, and their balance directly influences your weight, your metabolism, your cravings. A diverse, thriving gut microbiome is one of the most underappreciated foundations of natural weight loss. You got to flush this gut. And we need good bacteria. Best fermented, like yogurt with live cultures, kefir, kimchi, he named those, sauerkraut, tempeh, kombucha. I love kombucha. They got it right there in the grocery store. You can buy it. But see, this is good, beneficial bacteria, and they replenish and diversify your gut. Prebiotics, like garlic and onions and leeks, bananas, asparagus, artichokes, oats, chicory root, dandelion greens, plant-based fibers that feed the good gut bacteria. Without them, you cannot survive or thrive long term. That's why whole plants beat pills any day of the week. And research shows that leaner individuals have significantly more diverse gut bacteria, improving their microbiome through food, not just supplements. People keep wondering how some of these players, like LeBron James, are playing as long as they're playing. I dare you to check out what he's eating. Check out the diet. It's amazing. Fermented foods win all day long with your gut. Whole fermented foods deliver hundreds of bacterial strains alongside vitamins, enzymes, and fiber that support absorption. Supplements have a role. Probiotic supplements can be useful during antibiotic recovery or for specific clinical conditions, but they typically deliver only 1 to 10 strains. They should complement, not replace, a food-first approach. So we can buy the prebiotics and the probiotics in pill form. But always strive for the foods that have them. And the bottom line is prioritize a diverse, plant-rich diet full of fermented foods and prebiotic fiber. Your gut bacteria will flourish and your metabolism will follow.
The other thing that people don't think about, but you probably already do, is exercise. Exercise will naturally trigger the release of GLP-1 hormone as well too, specifically aerobic training and resistance training. Okay. Now, when it comes to exercise, you need to make a goal of 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. All right. So 150 minutes. All right. That's going to the gym 5 times a week, 30 minutes. Okay. Or you could break that down into 3 times a week, 50 minutes. Okay. Either way, that's also going to help trigger the release of GLP-1 hormone in the body too. Again, slowing down the transit of food in the stomach, lowering your blood glucose, and also decreasing your hunger and your appetite. All right. So exercise will naturally do that for you as well too.
So we know exercise, right? But you know, some people, that's all they do is exercise. They don't do any of the other stuff that we're talking about. And that's why they're concerned. I exercise all the time and I don't see any weight loss. It's for natural weight loss. Movement. Movement is non-negotiable for lasting weight loss. But the type of exercise matters. A balance. Some people, all they do is aerobic exercise. No resistance training, no weight training, no picking up something, getting stronger in your arms, stronger in your legs, building muscle. And we look at the scale. If you are, you can't go by the scale because muscle will weigh more than fat once you develop it. But it's important to have a balance of both. It's far more effective than either approach by themselves because you need them. Aerobic exercise burns calories right now. Resistance training burns calories forever. See, when you do cardiovascular exercise, it burns significant calories during the workout itself. It improves your heart. It improves your lung. It's essential for metabolic health and mood regulation through the endoform release, like walking, brisk walking, running, cycling, swimming, dancing, hiking, jump rope, rowing, rebounding, bouncing on a mini trampoline. That stimulates the lymphatic system. It detoxifies the cells and it burns calories with a low joint impact. So no excuse for those who tell me, you know, I got bad knees, I got bad legs, I got bad this. You don't have to jump high, just barely move and let it bounce. Resistance training. Muscle tissue burns 3 times more calories at rest than fat tissue. At rest. Once you've burned that, once you've done those weights and once you've lifted those dumbbells, you say, but I can't do but 3. Whatever it is you can do, do it. Resistance training builds lean muscle because whenever you start, 3 months down the road, you won't be at that same place. I promise you. You burn more calories even while you're sleeping. So the key benefits are to improve your insulin sensitivity, reduce your visceral belly fat, support your bone density and joint health, and preserve muscle during weight loss so you don't shrink, you reshape. I love to rebound. We have a rebounding group, bouncing on that mini trampoline. It's one of the most effective low-impact exercises available. NASA research found it to be 68% more effective than jogging for cardiovascular fitness at the same perceived effort. Unlike high-impact cardio, rebounding is gentle on the knees and hips while simultaneously engaging your core, improving your balance, and uniquely stimulating the lymphatic system, which is body's primary waste removal network. It drains toxins from the lymph nodes. It increases cellular oxygenation. It burns 150 to 210 calories per 30-minute session. And it's suitable for all fitness levels, no matter what fitness level, beginner, medium, advanced, it does not matter.
Number 3, and this is an important one because I know most of you are doing this one absolutely, completely wrong. Number 3 is mindful eating. Why is that so important and what is that? Mindful eating is when you eat slow and you actually chew your food instead of just swallowing it. All right? Now, why is that important? Because when you eat mindfully, meaning you're eating slow, taking your time, all right? And you're also chewing your food till it becomes a mush in your mouth. First of all, you're stimulating digestive enzymes to help break that food down. The other thing is you're giving your gut enough time to actually stimulate the trigger the release of GLP-1 hormone, which again is going to lower your appetite. Because people eat so quickly and they don't chew their food, they're not even allowing their body enough time to release the things that are actually there to protect you. So slow down and actually chew your food instead of just swallowing it. All right. It's a game changer. My friends are always looking at me at the table because they're like, how many times are you going to chew that one bite? And I'm going to chew it until it becomes a mush. And I asked them the opposite question. How long are you going to continue to just swallow your food? Take one bite and swallow. All right. And see the results that you get. All right. So mindful eating is very important too. Number 3. Number 4, food sequencing. It's not only important what you eat, it's also important the order in what you eat those foods. All right. And here's the game changer that I'm going to give you. When you're eating your foods, first eat your proteins and your fibrous vegetables first. Okay. So if you got a salad there, eat that salad and the protein first. All right. So my protein would be something like chickpeas. Maybe it's some mushrooms. Maybe it's some quinoa. I'm eating that first with the salad, and then I eat my carbs. Okay. Why is that important? Because it's going to boost and stimulate the release of GLP-1. It's also going to blunt the effect of your post-meal blood glucose spike as well too. All right. So eating your protein and your fiber, your high fiber food first, and then your carbs. Save your carbs for last. Think of carbs like your dessert. Save it for last.
I've been doing this for a little while now, and the thing is, I didn't realize it was releasing that hormone to all of a sudden tell me I'm full. And by the time I get to certain other things on the plate, I'm already full. I don't want it anymore because I've eaten the salad first. I've eaten, as he said, mindful eating. In the culture that we live in, we're distracted. We're on the phones, we're on the screens, we're in the fast food. And one of the most powerful weight loss tools is to be completely free. Slow down. Pay attention. Other cultures, other countries say we eat too fast. Their lunches are hours. We're on jobs where they give you 30 minutes, right? Mindful eating transforms your relationship with food and activates your body's natural satiety signaling system. In other words, our body naturally knows when it's full. Now, we push past it because your mama told you to eat everything on your plate. But when he said chew it until it's mush, that's a slap across all of our faces, right? Chew it until it's mush. Why? Most people chew each bite. He said 1 or 2 times and you're swallowing. But most people chew each bite only about 4 to 7 times before they swallow. And experts recommend 20 to 40 chews per bite. Okay, let's think about that. Think about the last time you ate a piece of meat, a piece of chicken, a piece of steak, or whatever. Next time you do it, think about what you're doing and you're ready to swallow it. But how many times have you chewed it? Have you broken it up so that your digestive tract doesn't have to overwork? So experts recommend 20 to 40 chews per bite, depending on what it is. Now, if it's something soft, of course, it doesn't require that many chews, but the digestion begins in the mouth. The saliva contains what it does, an enzyme, amylase, that begins breaking down the carbohydrates. Thoroughly chewing maximizes the nutrient extraction. See, we're not even getting the nutrients. And reduces the digestive burden on your stomach and your intestines. Oh God, our stomach and intestines are saying, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Then your brain takes approximately 20 minutes to register that your stomach is full. So eating slowly ensures that fullness signals, this is the stuff that God gave us, arrive before you overeat. Ain't nobody giving time for that signal. Stop sign ain't even up yet. You ain't even got a caution sign. Just green, cause swallow, green, swallow, just green. Potentially cutting the caloric intake by 10 to 20% per meal if we just slow down. Reducing the bloating and the digestive stress. Poorly chewed foods forces your digestive system to work overtime, leading to fermentation, to gas, to bloating. Mush level chewing arrives pre-digested, making your gut's job dramatically easy. And then greater meal satisfaction. I've heard some of my business partners say that you're supposed to just enhance it, and you're supposed to enjoy it and marinate over it. Slowly down enhances the sensory experience of eating, the taste, the aroma, the texture, and that activates the cephalic phase of digestion and naturally reduces your cravings after your meals.
Number 5, and this is one, again, people never think about this, but if you think about it the way that I'm about to teach you, you'll understand how much of a game changer this is when it comes to maintaining a healthy weight loss and actually achieving healthy weight loss, okay? Because this is why people cannot lose weight. This is why people try everything and they cannot lose weight. They tried to diet, they tried to exercise. I see people who come to the gym more than I do, stay longer than I do, work harder in the gym than I do, and they still can't lose weight. And this is why. They're toxic, okay? And let me explain why that's such a big and pivotal component when it comes to healthy weight loss. Toxins are lipophilic. What that means is the toxins that you consume, that you put on your body, that you put on your scalp, etc. Lipophilic means that those toxins love fat. So when you consume them, think about it. When you read your food labels, all right, and you're eating a whole bunch of processed foods or things you don't recognize, etc. When you're seeing those ingredients that you can't pronounce, those are toxins. When they come into the body, they're lipophilic. They love fat. They're going to go into the fat and be stored in that fat, okay? Because they're lipophilic. They love fat. This is what makes it so difficult to lose weight, because if you burn the fat, all of those toxins come spilling out all at once. Now imagine all of the preservatives, the thickening agents, the emulsifiers, the heavy metals, the plasticizers or microtoxins, microplastics. The list goes on and on. Imagine all of those thousands, if not tens of thousands of chemicals spilling out into the blood all at once. Okay, so the body in its ingenuity won't allow that to happen, because if it did spill out, most people are constipated. Okay, they're not only constipated in their bowels, they're constipated in their liver's ability to remove toxins. They're constipated in their kidneys' ability to remove acid. They're constipated in their skin. Most people have skin issues, okay? So their skin isn't releasing things in the way that it should be releasing things. So most people are constipated when it comes to the elimination of these toxins. So the body will hold on to them, which means that it's gonna hold on to fat. And this is why detoxing is so much of a game changer. Because once you open up those elimination channels, now all of a sudden the body says, we got a way to get rid of these toxins so we can burn the fat. All right? Now, what's really, really important when it comes to detoxification is to understand that you can't be putting toxins in the body while you're trying to get rid of toxins. And it's also important to understand that you have to have a detox that can open up these elimination channels, that has herbs in them, keyword herbs, not synthetic things, that can trigger the release of these said toxins as well too. You got herbs that can get rid of heavy metals. You got herbs that can get rid of parasites. You got herbs that target candida in the body. You got herbs that can get rid of mucus. You got herbs that stimulate the liver. You got herbs that stimulate the kidneys, the lymphatic system, the skin to open up. All right. For you guys out there who have never did what I call the body's oil change, what I call the body's service plan. All right. If you have never did a full body detox, I'm not talking about, doing a juice fast. I'm not talking about drinking water that has cayenne pepper and some lime in it. I'm talking about a detox that is designed to open up these elimination channels and target specific toxins like forever chemicals that those type of things would never target. All right. If you have not done one of those, essentially you've never given yourself an oil change. You've never washed or detailed yourself. You've never allowed your brakes to be changed, the tires to be changed, the fluids to be changed. You have not did maintenance on yourself, and that's why your body is breaking down. So what I would highly recommend, jumpstart those detox organs and start to allow the body to say, I can get rid of these toxins, thus I can get rid of the fat. All right.
Detox. Detox. I mean, everybody's got a detox. Even if it's just once a year. I recommend at least twice a year, a whole body. It's not just a juice cleanse. It's not just lemon water protocol. It's not just the pink stuff that they're advertising on social media. It's a systematic process of clearing accumulated waste. It's like flushing the toilet, the sewage system. The body accumulates toxins and mucus and parasites and arterial plaque and intestinal waste over years. And if we've never, ever done one, guess what? You're clogged up. And no matter how much exercise, no matter how many changing of foods that you do, if you've never flushed the toilet, you can put all the Pine Sol you want to in the toilet, but you got to flush that sewer system. And that's what our whole body, that's what our intestinal, that's what our old and our large and small intestines and our arteries all got to be flushed out. No single beverage, no matter how trending, addresses this systematic burden. The gut microbiome, the intestinal wall, some of that's just sitting on the walls of our intestine. The parasites, we've been meat eaters. If you've eaten meat, I don't care, beef, chicken, pork, turkey, fish, all of it. If you've eaten any of it, you've got some parasites. Mucus buildup, yeah, we've had the ice cream, we've had the milk, we've had the cheese. Come on, we can name all kind of things that mucus builds up. You're sneezing all the time. You got allergies. Sometimes it's just mucus buildup. Clears that mucus. That's what the lymphatic system, draining those toxins in the cells from the cellular waste and your arteries and the blood vessels, reducing the plaque and improving the circulations. Those are the 6 targets of a whole body detox, not just a liver detox, not just a colonoscopy. Come on, the whole body. And you're going to deal with the gut. You're going to deal with the parasites removal. You're going to clear up the mucus and the arterial cleaning. Some of these things you can do on a regular basis, and the intestinal wall buildup. So natural detox strategies do work. Hydration. Drink and have your body weight in water. Fiber-rich whole foods, the liver support with the dandelion root and the beets. Anti-parasitic herbs like black walnut, the herbs that God made, guys. Dry brushing and rebounding. Infrared sauna, that's sweating, eliminating those heavy metals and toxins, fat-soluble toxins from your body. But avoid just the detox tea only, or the 3-day juice cleanse or marketing if it's a real detox for the whole body. They may provide a mild laxative effect, but do nothing to address those parasites and that arterial plaque and that intestinal biofilm on the walls and that deep lymphatic congestion. A true detox is a lifestyle shift that unfolds over weeks and months, not just a weekend. Work with a qualified naturopath or a functional medicine practitioner for the personalized, safe protocol, especially for parasite removal. Natural weight loss, that's our message today. It's not about depriving yourself. It's not about punishment. It's about working with your body's innate intelligence. When you feed it the right foods, move it consistently, give it time to digest, clear its accumulated burdens, weight loss becomes a natural byproduct of becoming genuinely healthy. Your body says thank you. The groundwork of all happiness is health. You get ready. If you haven't started, start right now. Let's be consistent. Let's seek the support of others around us. And let's watch what happens to help us live a long, healthy life. We'll see you next time.